Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Open Mic Broadcast Network. We are into our second week with the Coach Kenneth Carter show, who represents the Delaware State Hornets, as the Delaware State Hornets fell short in Delaware Day Bowl, if you will, losing to the Blue Hens. And we have on the line with us right now none other than Coach Kenneth Carter. How you doing this week, Coach?
Good morning, Dr. Prince. I'm doing fantastic.
All right. Well, give us a recap on the game and how things came up a little short, but you had some overall positive things happen, and we'll let you get into that a little bit later on here.
Right. Well, the recap is really quite simple. We were drastically different this year than what we were last year in our opening game. We had the same opponent, and we could have gone in at halftime with a 1-point differential, but we turned the ball over, and we ended up kicking the field goal. Excuse me. But the turnovers was really the key to the game. And the young man, we had one young man, Bryson Aline, who turned the ball over. He's a captain, junior, really good football player. But ball security is a critical thing that you just can't have happen. But we're going to go into this week coming up, and guess what? We're going to hand him the ball again because he's a true kid. Everything that we can fix was technical, and we'll get it fixed, and he'll help us win.
We're talking right now with Coach Kenneth Carter of the Delaware State Hornets, falling short to Delaware by the score of 22-3. And you go into halftime, Coach. You're down only 8-3. What's the momentum like for you guys when you're at the halftime break? What's going on right now? Put the people in the mindset of what your halftime message was for you guys.
Well, the momentum was great. I really didn't have to say very much because our kids knew that we missed an opportunity to have something special happen. Here's a team that scored 50-plus points on us last year, and they got a safety, and really it was crazy how the whole thing happened because we could have put ourselves on the map big time, and our kids recognized that, and they recognized that we were playing well enough to go win the game in the second half, and so the motivation was already there just because of how we were performing. So it was drastically different than anything we've ever had up until that point.
Okay, up until that point. And when you begin, you come out, guys are amped up, ready to go. And, football players are unique players anyway. I heard you say last week it's not all about the rah-rah-rahs, but that does help, especially in a game like this. So they come out all cylinders fine, but you stressed on something that was key, and those were turnovers and taking advantage of opportunities. What did you tell your young men as they, you say you go back and you look over opportunities that you could have had? What was the message to recap so they can learn from their hard mistake?
Well, everything that prevented us from being able to win the game is fixable because of a technique mistake. And it's different if you get outplayed because they were just better than you. That wasn't the case. And so when our guys recognized that was the case, and it was all about the attention to detail and ball security, having the elbow, wrist above the elbow and the elbow tight, the ball doesn't come out. Now we're continuing to grow. The one drive where we fumbled to really go ahead and put ourselves in position to take over the game was an explosion run and inside the 20, and so just little things, and so the players, they're sitting there and they're seeing all of this, and we go over the pluses and the minuses and the things that were really good, things that were really bad. We had one instance, they kick off and it goes out of bounds. We make them re-kick, so they got to run down the field again. And Bryson Aline, the same young man that fumbled, he takes it. He's one person away from taking it for a touchdown on the kickoff return. So it's just little things like that when you execute the scheme like you're taught to do, and you're just a little bit more attention to detail and bringing it all together, is going to pay dividends for us this week and the rest of the games to come down the road.
Talking with head football coach Kenneth Carter of the Delaware State Hornets, falling short to Delaware Blue Hens by the score of 22-3. to 3, pretty big turnout. You talked about your quarterback, McDaniels. A lot of people are quick to try to pull the hook, but you got a lot of confidence in this young man. What were your words of encouragement for him after this game?
Oh, keep playing. Keep playing. He does some things that he's a natural. He's very talented. He took some big hits in the game. He had a one scramble, and they actually ejected the player. The kid launches at his head, knocks his helmet off. The first thing he does when we're watching film, he throws his hand up like that should be a flag. That's his first reaction instead of, oh, I guess I just got hit. I mean, it was amazing to watch him do his thing, to watch him push the pocket and throw the ball. And I mean, we had about 3 drops that were just unbelievable throws that should have been made, catches that should have been made. So we just want him to keep operating. I mean, matter of fact, the way that our offense is designed, there's some things that the players have the ability to do. So him and our tailback, Mike Waters, at one point during the game, we had a couple of explosion runs because of it. They decide themselves to line up in an empty set and then come back from an empty set to get an empty check and come back to the backfield, and we end up running an inside zone. And those 2 guys decided to do that. So we're sitting there like, when did we put that in? But it's the evolution of the offense, and it gives you an opportunity to see some things. And for a freshman to have that much to him to do that was phenomenal. So we really are excited about watching him continue his development. Heck, he was already yesterday morning in the offensive game plan meeting with the offensive staff. Not many freshman quarterbacks do that.
Absolutely. So you got a keeper in McDaniels. As you know, every game is going to be a vast improvement for him as he had almost 43%, 42.9% of his receptions complete. And working at West Coast offense, as he gets more acclimated and comfortable with the system, as he develops and goes through, his confidence is going to grow, and you're going to see even huge dividends from this young man.
No doubt. And he's not lacking in confidence, and it's not from arrogance, it's just from work. He's a worker. He just works at it. He has no habits, like I said last year, except football and school. That's all he cares about. And really his completion percentage should have been higher than that were it not for a couple of drops. I mean, he probably had, I'd say, no more than 2 errant throws that were not catchable. The rest of them, is because of a drop.
Let's go over your running back play, Coach, and your overall assessment from your guys in behind the back line.
We didn't feel like we played very well at running back. Not from what those kids can do and what we've seen them do. There could be a sundry of reasons why that was. We felt like some of the things we did throwing the ball were a little bit better. But the explosion. Bryson had the one explosion run. Mike had just not the production that we're used to with those guys. But we know it's going to happen. We're not worried about that one bit. It's somewhat kind of like the NFL. When you watch certain things happen, there are going to be things that you're going to be given within a system or within a game, and against a certain defense, you don't force a circle into a square. So we went with what we felt like was going to give us a chance to move the ball, and we had our opportunities regardless of statistics.
Now, Coach, you're going to have to help me on your receivers. Breakout, 4 receptions, 93 yards. And I don't want to butcher the name up, so I'm gonna let you have the honors of rolling out and what an impact he had, almost like a breakout performance.
Well, his name is Noah Sua Godinet, and we call him Fatu. He's Hawaiian. He's from Hawaii. He went to Kamehameha High School in Hawaii. Fantastic young man. Matter of fact, his father's a pastor. He's fantastic. He played very well for us last year. He's a preseason all-conference guy. He's got great ability. He's very smooth, really good ball skills, and he will continue to develop and become an even better player. As a matter of fact, you'll get a kick out of this. The older people in the audience will. His father's college roommate was June Jones.
Is that right?
Yeah.
June Jones actually coached at Hawaii for a while, and then went to SMU, and he is a mastermind with that spread West Coast style offense that you guys have implemented now.
Absolutely. That's a little bit of the connection with it all. So it was really cool listening to some of the stories with his father. And we have a very good relationship, Coach White, my offensive coordinator, and I, with Coach Jones.
Okay, so Phi Nu, that's what we're going to affectionately call. We're going Phi 2. Okay, we're going Phi 2. We'll definitely get used to that because now it's Phi 2 Sue Gotnet. Sue Gotnet. Whatever the man, it was as difficult to cover as it is to pronounce his name because he was definitely able to be a glimpse of hope and shine right now. We're talking with Coach Kenneth Carter of the Delaware State Hornets. Fell short to Delaware Blue Hens by a score of 22-3. But what are you taking from this game as you get ready for your opening MEAC against Hampton? We'll get into in just a little bit here. But what do you bring from this game moving forward, Coach?
Well, there's nothing but positivity. When you're coming off of the 2 seasons that we just had, when you can see the anguish and the disappointment in your players because they knew that we fell short because of detail things, not because we're just not good enough, then that's a tremendous step. And you moral victories are not acceptable. But the thing that happened with our people is that because not in 8 times that the 2 schools have played has Delaware State ever come this close to playing with Delaware. But our kids, they're getting all these pats on the back about how good and how good they look and how da-da-da-da. None of that mattered to them. All they cared about is that we should have won the game. That is a tremendous step forward. So going into the Hampton game, and this is what I told them after the game, this game is over, closure. We're going to watch it. We're going to make sure we make the corrections that we need to make. But we play our first championship game this coming Friday. So that's their mindset.
This coming Friday, you'll be taking on Hampton, which is not a stranger at all, being another familiar foe from the MEAC conference. What are going to be some of your keys for this particular battle that you got coming up this week?
Is making sure that we continue to execute our game plan and continue to develop, get even stronger on defense, get our run game on track, continue to throw the ball the way we've been throwing it, and make sure that we continue to use the kicking game as an advantage for us. You know, we got a good punter who can turn the field. We actually had a fake punt that continued to drive to keep us going. So we're going to utilize all 3 phases of the game to continue to make ourselves better.
Yeah, you did pull old rabbit out the hat with that fake punt. And at that point in the game, was that more or less as a confidence booster for your guys, or was that a message to the rest of your foes, like, hey, don't underestimate us. We are the real deal?
No, they know we're going to do that. I mean, we've probably we've got about 8 different fakes from just the punt formation. We have multiple fakes out of field goal formations. That's just part of what we do. And what it does, it's more so to continue drives. Everything is phased together. So when we get into the kicking game, it's a continuation of either offense or making sure that the defense has a long field to defend. So it all ties together, and that's really what our mindset is, and our kids know that. We work on that phase as much as we do offense and defense to ensure that everything ties together.
Speaking with head football coach Kenneth Carter of Delaware State. Delaware State will take on now the Hampton Pirates this week. Coming on this Friday, Hampton kind of got roughed up a little bit against Ohio, losing 59-0. Now, this is where it all leads to. This is what it's all about. If I'm not mistaken, that is going to be Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. It will be 5 o'clock Central Time. Talked about the impact and everything that it's going to be. Now, that game is going to be a road game for you guys, correct?
It is. It's at 7 p.m. and it is definitely a road game. But we're used to that trip. We've taken that trip. We go the same road to go to North Carolina A&T and North Carolina Central. So our guys are ready to go. We opened up with a road game, even though it was a short trip. So the fact that whether you go 51 minutes or whether you go 4.5 hours, it doesn't matter. You're going on the road. So we've already done that with this team. So that's one less thing that we have to do different when we go to travel.
Now, Coach, we know that it's been a challenge of finding wins for the Hornets these past couple of seasons. How important would this game to you be, not only just to get that first win in a spell, but to get that first conference win on your first game of this new season? How important is that to you?
Oh, it's paramount. It's paramount. I think it will set a tone for everything, because our kids, the thing that our kids are focused on is, we wanted to win the Delaware game. That was a big deal to us. We wanted to win that. We want to win every game we play, but it's every conference game is what matters, because you play your first conference game, you win your first conference game, you're in first place or tied for first place in the conference. So you have the chance to control your own destiny every game you play. So this is when the season really starts, because in the MEAC, it doesn't matter what your out-of-conference record is. What matters is what your in-conference record is. And so we still control our own destiny, and that's all we're focused on.
Well, you'll be opening up against Hampton, then you'll go back on the road again. You guys are going to be on the road then against West Virginia. And we know that, as they say, we got to have some of these games where you got to take care of what needs to be taken care of. And we all know the hidden message is that football kind of carries the weight for other programs. When you play these particular games, not trying to get too ahead of it, what do you look for when you play these bigger schools?
Look for opportunity for our guys to experience things that they never thought they would have the opportunity to experience as young football players. And then some of them, they really felt like, hey, I felt like I should have played at that level. So they get the opportunity to be in an environment that's going to be fantastic for them. It's going to be exciting. And I look forward to them having the opportunity to compete. The way I look at it, too, from a coaching standpoint, is that as much like when you're in the Army and you got to take your final PT test coming out of boot camp. Well, what are you going to do? You're going to go on that road march. And why do you go on that road march? It has significance, because you take that road march, you're carrying that 60-pound ruck and for 15 miles, and then you come back, and when you go run 2 miles, it's like you're not carrying anything, and all of a sudden you're better because you lifted heavy weight. You lifted heavier weight to get you prepared for that opponent that may not be as good as that big school. So we look forward to playing games like that because it prepares us, and we go at it like, hey, we're going to go to win, and just play as tough as we can. And then when all of a sudden the competition may be a little bit different, you can appreciate the fact that you had to do a little bit extra to prepare yourself when you come down to playing people that are just like you.
Well, the Hornets are positioned to sting against the Pirates on September the 8th, Friday night college football, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, as the true test of the MEAC season for the Hornets will begin on Friday Night Lights. Usually in Texas, it's Friday night high school night, but it's unusual circumstances for the Friday Night Light on the college side from our angle point, at least. Now, Coach, with all that being said, all that gathering in, I got to let you know that Kenneth Carter has lit up like a Christmas tree with the Open Mic Broadcast Network. And I don't know what it is about your message and what they heard. And I had even people talking about, I'm surprised you let him get away with that Omega saying without you saying anything about it. I said, I got the whole season to come back and forth with that. What would you like to share with the Open Mic family and Hornet Nation as we continue to develop this Kenneth Carter show each week?
Well, I'm very flattered and appreciative for Delaware State that people on a different side of the country have opened their arms to us. And the great thing about family is that family can be all over the place, and even new family. That's the best thing in the world is when you can open your arms and just being a pastor, you know as well as I do that the church is not the building, but it's the people in the church. And so
yes, sir.
the more you extend your family and your connection all over the world, that means that that's just going to be more opportunities for our young people, because when people know that there are quality people at Delaware State and that Delaware State student starts to expand throughout the world, it just creates a larger network for him to be able to be, him and her, to be more successful. So I'm much appreciative of the love that we have received at such an early stage.
Well, it is definitely a mutual thing, and that's what we try to do. We want to make sure that people get to see and hear the kids, the coaches that work tremendously hard. They're second to none, and we feel like part of our job is to help be that mouthpiece, to help spread that brand's good fortune out and around. And we're very appreciative of you all and your willingness to be a part of the open mic as we continue to develop. The Hampton Pirates will be next on the list for the Hornets, and we'll be wrapping up with Coach each and every week as we will give you the Kenneth Carter Show right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. It is a show that is on the rise, just as the Hornets are on the rise. Coach, I'm going to remind you each week you have been dubbed as our MEAC Team of the Year. And I just want you to know, I'm not trying to put no pressure on you, but the pressure is on.
Well, we are looking forward to that. We welcome that, and it's going to be exciting for us. We can't wait to play Hampton. Our kids have been in watching film the day after we played Delaware. They were here. We got practice today, later on today. So we are rolling. And going back to what you were saying about you being challenged, because you're a Sigma. Just know that in Omega Psi Phi, one of our greatest things is that friendship is essential to the soul, regardless of what you pledge. We're going to welcome you and treat you like a brother.
Well, amen to that, my brother. Amen to that. And on that note, I'll ask you this question, sir. You're on the East Coast, correct?
Yes.
And you definitely have a beautiful day when the skies are what color?
Blue. I understand.
Oh, well, I can see we're going to have us a great season this year, Coach. You always remember, every time you look up and it's a beautiful, sunshiny day, the sky has to be blue in order for it to be a great day. And on that, I'm going to give you the last word. Close us out this week, Coach.
I tell you, this again is a great opportunity to represent our university, and we look forward to playing every game this season and continuing to spread the Delaware State message, both on the field and off the field. So I look forward to talking to you next week after our first conference game.
All right, Coach Kenneth Carter, the Omega Man, and the Delaware State Hornets get ready for the Hampton Pirates next week. We will get you all the in-depth information, highlights, and recaps from Coach himself each and every week and all season long right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. As always, you guys be blessed. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince, and we'll see you on the other side.